Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome to Swayam Prabha, Channel 15. The course title is Human Resource Management, lecture title Placement, Orientation and Socialization, Module 8, Lecture 2. I am Dr. Soma Singh Gupta, Associate Professor, Commerce, Kamla Nehru College, University of Delhi. In this lecture, we will cover the following topics: concept of induction, its objectives, advantages, the process, contents of induction, problems of implementation of induction program, and the requisites of an effective induction program. Concept of induction. Induction is also called orientation or indoctrination or assimilation. Now, why orientation or induction is necessary in the organization? Now, when a new employee joins the organization, he is generally a stranger to the people and workplace. He feels insecure as well as he is anxious, nervous. He is anxious, has fears in the absence of information and support. He doesn't know even the layout of the organization, and sometimes he undergoes a reality shock due to a gap between his expectation and the real situation. This might have happened with you also. You have expected that a certain institution may be very great, but when you join that institution, you find it below your expectation. So there is a reality shock. Though generally it happens with big name or even with big companies. When an employee joins such big companies, they have lots of enthusiasm and expectation, but later on they find that the situation doesn't matches with their expectation. So that is reality shock. So in nutshell, when you are joining, when a new employee is joining an organization, he has lots of anxiety, fears, nervousness, insecurities, as well as he doesn't know the whole of the organization at all. So he is a bit less confident, shy, and doesn't know anybody in the organization. So induction can help overcome these problems, which is the process of familiarizing the new employee with the job and the organization. One definition by Michelle Armstrong or Michael Armstrong: orientation or induction is the process of receiving and welcoming an employee when he joins a company and giving him the basic information he needs to settle down quickly and happily and start work. So if we look at the definition, we find three important things. One is receiving and welcoming a new employee. Second is giving him all the necessary information. And third is the purpose, so that new employee settles down in his work and he start working happily and enthusiastically. So induction is designed to provide a new employee with the information he or she needs to function comfortably and effectively in the organization. So it is planned introduction of the new hires or new employees to their jobs, to their peers, and to the organization. The purpose of orientation is to make the new entrant feel at home, comfortable, and develop a sense of pride and a sense of loyalty also towards the organization and commitment towards the job. So induction or orientation is the process of indoctrination, welcoming, acclimatization of the new employee to the new environment. Now, acculturalization, that is understanding the culture of the organization, and socialization, that means imbibing the norms, values, and everything about the organization. So this is the whole concept of induction. The objectives of induction. The main objective is to help the newcomer overcome his shyness and initial nervousness in a new environment. So we have discussed that whenever a new employee joins the organization, he has some shyness, some anxiety, he doesn't know anybody, uncomfortable in the new situation, less confident. So to overcome all these problems, we can have an induction program, orientation program, and so that he shuns away all these shyness and he can comfortably adjust to the new job and mingle with others. It also, another objective is to build up his confidence in the organization and in himself. So when he will know the organization well and the people working with him or over him or under him, so he will be more confident and he will be enthusiastic towards his job. To make the new employee efficient. Since he will know everything, he will become efficient, he will be more confident and efficient. To develop a sense of belongingness and loyalty. Now, this is also very important. If you like the institution or organization, then you become loyal to it. So as we have said, that first impression is very important, and then you will not leave the organization quickly. Also to foster a close and cordial relationship. So when an employee joins the organization, we believe that he will work for a long period of time in the organization, and for that he has to build relationship with his peers, with his subordinate, with his superior. So induction gives the new employee an opportunity to develop that kind of relationship with all the people with whom he will be working, to give him the necessary information. So all types of information which we will discuss later on, about the organization, its products, its whole layout, its values or its norms, its philosophy, whole philosophy, as well as the people who are responsible for different work, the restrooms, the canteen, the workshop, every detail is given to the employee. And by imbibing all this thing, then he becomes confident to work in the organization. Next objective is to develop his interest in the job and in the organization. When he will know everything about the job and the organization, he will feel interested to work in that organization and enthusiastic towards the job. It also avoids giving a false impression about the organization. So it is very important that when you are conducting orientation induction program, you have to give the right information to them so that there is no false impression in his mind, because otherwise then it will lead to frustration and less trust on the organization. Also to indicate the standards of performance and behavior expected from the new employee, so that information can also be given to him, what kind of behavior the organization is expecting or standard he has to maintain. To inform him about the training facilities and all other facilities like the cafeteria, washrooms, or any kind of free subsidized lunch, everything is provided, or medical facility is given to the employees. So you have to give all this information to the new entrant to make him value his job and the organization. So that kind of feeling has to be inculcated in the employee, that he will value the job and the organization. The next topic is advantages of orientation or induction. Now, orientation and induction is beneficial for not only the organization but also for the employee. We have already discussed the different benefits under the objectives, and a few more we will discuss, and some of the points will be repeated over here. So the first advantage is builds a two-way channel of communication between the employees and the management, the new employee and the management. So it is kind of an icebreaker, and a two-way channel of communication can be created. It facilitates informal relations and teamwork. It integrates the new employee into the organization. So all this is the kind of a acclimatizing and socializing kind of process, whereby the new employee gets to know about all the people with whom he will work and build a kind of a teamwork. Reduces employee grievances, absenteeism, and turnover. So he will be happy working in the organization. He will have less grievances and he will not absent himself from the organization too often. That means he will start loving the job. There will be lesser labor turnover, that employees will not leave frequently the organization, separations will be less. So that is the advantage of induction. It will prove that the company is taking a sincere interest in getting off to a good start. So an induction program is a kind of a proof that the organization values its new employees and is ready to take good care of them. It develops good public relations with the different groups, between the employees, between employee and the management, as well as any other party with whom the employee will work. Reduces startup time and cost. So he can, after induction program, he will know everything about the job and the organization and people with whom he will be working. So this he can start directly, and the time in adjusting and the cost involved will of course reduce. It will develop realistic expectation in him, and because of that, because he knows the job and the organization, so no unrealistic assumptions, and so he will not later on feel frustrated. He will he will like his job, and he will find that his expectations are met by the organization. It reduces anxiety in the new employee, that we have discussed, all shyness, nervousness, lack of information, that kind of problems will be taken care of by the induction program, and such problems will be solved by the induction program. It prevents the new employee from falling prey to the subversive element who represents the employer. So you will find that when a new employee joins an organization, there are certain elements, we can call them subversive or bad elements, or people, some of the people who may misrepresent the employers and create a type of distrust and disrespect for the employers. So that situation can be avoided, because if you have induction program and you are giving the right kind of information to the employee. Continuing with the advantages and other advantages, lesser supervision is required, as he is already has been told about the job, working condition, rules, etc. So he knows his job well, the organization, the people with whom he will be working, and he will work enthusiastically. There is no need of monitoring all his activities. So this reduces the supervision required as well as the supervision cost. Employee develops a sense of belongingness and commitment towards our organization. He will like the organization, love the organization, and would remain with the organization for a long period of time. It enables the new employee to develop his overall effectiveness on the job, so he can reach his full potential on the job. So that is another advantage, and in that nutshell, everything will lead to improved productivity for the organization. So these are all advantages of right orientation or induction program in the organization. The process of induction. Before we discuss the steps involved in the process of induction, we must realize that or understand that integration of the individual to the organization should be as smooth and comfortable as is possible. But the process differs from different one company to another according to the type of the company or the size of the company. So the process of induction in a small organization will be very informal. When a new entrant enters the organization, he is welcomed by his supervisor and given all kind of information. So immediate supervisor of the employee gives the briefing and all the necessary information to the new employee. So this is a small organization, and generally there is no formal induction in such type of organization. The process of induction in large organization, there will be a formal orientation program and all the steps which we will discuss in the process of induction that will be followed in a big organization. So the steps in the process of induction, one by one we will discuss all the steps. The first is the new employee reports to the duty to the superior or a group of new employee or it can be a group of new employees meet the superior at a certain place. The superior welcomes him or her and introduces him or her to the head of the institution, who again welcomes the new employee. Now the head of the institution, he introduces the organization or begins the whole of the discussion. The HR head describes the organizational details. So he will give all the details regarding the job, the whole of the organization, its history and everything. Now supervisor introduces him to his co-workers, working environment, facilities available, etc. And then supervisor clarifies the doubts of the new employee about the work as well. Now the organization may organize different types of activities for orientation and induction. A tour of the plant or the office, a talk on the history and background of the organization, a short discussion with the human resource officer, distribution of company handbook or manual, lectures, film slides, and group seminars. So any combination or any method of induction which is appropriate for the type of the job can be used by the person who is conducting the induction or the HR head who is conducting the induction program. So the steps in the induction program can be categorized in three broad categories. So we can say three-stepped orientation program. The first step is general information orientation. This is done by the HR department. So here what he is giving: history and operations of the organization. Employee services like pension, health, welfare and safety program, all details are given to the employee, and the basic idea is to help an employee build up a sense of pride and interest in the organization. Now the second step is specific information orientation. This is done by the supervisor. Here he introduces the job and the work unit members, the place of work, location of canteen, restrooms, etc. The idea is to enable the new employee adjust himself to his work and the work environment. Lastly, the last step is follow-up orientation. This is done jointly by the supervisor and HR department. So the idea is to ensure that the employee is properly placed and feels at home, to know employees' feelings, to remove the difficulties faced by him through personal talks, guidance and counseling. So this is the three-stepped orientation program which may be followed in many organizations. Next is contents of an induction program. Now induction program aims at acquainting the new employee about three distinct things. One, the company, or two, about the department in which he will work, and also the superior subordinates and peers. And the length of the induction program, it varies widely. In certain organization, it can take place within for a few hours, or in certain others, it may be for a week or 3 days or 15 days. Orientation programs may be there. The contents and the length depends upon the importance of the position, philosophy of the top management regarding the importance of formal induction. Contents of an induction. This can be categorized, as we have discussed, into three different groups: about the organization, about the department, and about the other employees like subordinate, superior and the peers. So first we will start with about the organization. Here we will give every details about the organization, like brief history and operations of the company, growth, organization and management, products and services, markets, customers, the organization structure, location of departments and employee facilities, basic conditions of employment like hours of work, shift, retirement benefits, etc., rules, regulations, and daily work routines. This will be given. Policies and procedures of the company about compensation, sick leave, travel expenditure, grievance redressal, etc. So here everything what an employee should know about the organization, all those detail is given under this category. Next is about the department. Department head introduces the new employee to the important employees, describes briefly the department and the job. The supervisor concerned introduces the employee to all employees in a particular section, the specific job, material and machine, his position in the department. When we talk about contents related to other employees, we can say that all information regarding superior of the concerned employee, subordinates of the concerned employee, his peers have to be given to the employee. Beside that, employees who are working in other departments, and also interdependencies of the job, how one job is related to another, because they have to work in coordination with other people also. So those details will also be given to the employee. Beside that, other certain general information have to be given to the employee, like as we have discussed the grievance procedure, so in detail it can be given to the employees, plus the standing orders and disciplinary procedures, safety measures, suggestion schemes, terms and conditions of service, benefits and services for the employees, opportunities for training, promotion and transfers. So all these general information can also become part of the content for induction program. Problems in implementing induction program. If an induction program is not well planned, then it will lose its significance and it will fail to achieve its objectives. It may become ineffective under the following conditions or circumstances. One, superficial orientation, whereby the presentation is made in the form of a employee handbook or a quick tour of the office or plant without any set objective, then it will lose its significance. Giving too much information will lead to information overload. If you are giving all the information in 2 or 3 hours or 1 or 2 days, then the employee will not be able to retain anything. Again, the objective of induction will not be achieved. Likewise, giving too less information will not serve the purpose of orientation. Incomplete and scanty information may be given to the employees, and they will not be able to make out anything out of it. Assigning insignificant duties in the beginning, so that can be a problem. So the intention may be teaching from the ground up, it will result in lack of interest. So if the employee finds that job uninteresting, so they will lack in interest in the job and in the organization. Another problem may be supervisor who is entrusted with the job is not trained enough, or he is too busy with his job and he is not taking interest in the whole of the induction program. So again, the objective will not be achieved through induction. Another problem is that in the beginning itself, employee is asked to perform difficult tasks. So there is a high chance of failure in such a case, and it will result in discouragement or frustration among the employee. Sketchy orientation can be another problem. This is done under the belief that learning by trial and error is the best. So you are not giving the right way of doing the job. You are telling the employee to learn on their own on the basis of trial and error. So there will be chances of accidents and wastage of time and resources. This will increase. Employee is forced to fill the gaps between the general orientation of the HR manager and specific orientation of the departmental level. So again, there will be a confusion that what kind of orientation is done by the HR manager and what kind of orientation is done by the departmental head. So improper orientation creates confusion. Another is employee is thrown into action too soon. So enough time is not given to orientation. He is put on the job. So he will have poor confidence and the employee may feel confused. So what are the requisites of an effective induction program? It means how to make it successful, because we have observed that the whole of the induction program may go waste. So first thing is prepare for the new employee. So human aspect of the of orientation is very important, or most important aspect of orientation. So understanding the new employee is very important. Understand the attitude, behavior and the information needs of the new employees. So find out what kind of information need is there, what kind of attitude, temperament is there in him, and then the HR unit and supervisor should prepare and receive him. Co-workers should be aware of his arrival, especially if the latter's entry is likely to disturb their existing status. Management must take all the co-workers into confidence so that they can welcome the new employee and will not see him as an enemy. Second thing is determine what information new employee needs. So which we have discussed in the first step also, but here specifically what are his needs. Employee may be given a lot of information about the organization, the department, the work and the working environment. At times he is overloaded, as we have discussed, with all the information in one go. The information given is not of immediate or vital use to him. So he is not looking for those information, but all those information is bombarded at him. So immediately needed information is not given, which will make the program ineffective. So find out what he needs and accordingly design your induction program or the contents of the induction program. Determine how much to give in one go. So small pieces of information should be given. Administer smaller doses of information over a period of time rather than giving everything on a single day. The next strategy is decide who to present the information. We have said that the person who is conducting the orientation program should be trained and well versed with the everything about the organization and the job. So orientation procedure should be thoroughly planned. Line managers or supervisors should determine the most appropriate way of presenting the information. Specific responsibilities of human resource department and supervisors should be spelled out so as to avoid any kind of duplication or omission of important information. Supervisors should be trained in the art of orientation. Then determine how to present the information. The most appropriate way of presenting the information should be decided carefully by the superior in consultation with the HR head. The information about the organizational policies on sick leave may be contained in the handbook, which is distributed on the first day of orientation. So after a few days, the employees' questions on these aspects may be answered. So what you are doing, it is a way, it is an example whereby you are giving information in the kind of an organization handbook, and if he has further queries, he can ask later on. So this is one way, but there may be several ways. The way which is suitable for the organization should be taken up by the HR manager and the supervisor for orientation. Next is conducting the orientation program. So here introduce the new employee to the people with whom he will work, and for that a tea party can be arranged. Make him aware of the general and specific policies. Administer, as we have discussed, administer smaller doses of information over a period of time. Clarify doubts. Take him for a tour of the premises. Finally, Feedback of the orientation program. This final step is also very important. Allow reasonable time to the new employee to adapt to the new work environment. Keep a close touch with the new employees to check back how he is doing and offer help if required. A workshop involving a facilitator or a counselor working with new employees and their supervisors may be organized to encourage feedback and to iron out all kind of misunderstandings. Sometimes employees are asked to fill a kind of a questionnaire for to evaluate the induction program. To summarize this lecture, we can say that induction is a planned introduction of new hires to their jobs, their peers, and the company. Orientation program to be effective must be based on serious consideration of attitudes, behaviors, and information that is needed by the new employee. While conducting the orientation program, introduce the new employee to the people with whom he will work. You can arrange for a tea party, make him aware of the general and specific policies, administer smaller doses of information over a period of time, clarify his doubts, take him for a tour. So you have to plan the whole of the orientation program, find out what should be included in the content, who will provide the information, what type of information will be provided. So this everything should be planned well. Then only an induction program can be successful. Or and of course there should be a feedback procedure to find out whether the induction was effective or not. So for references, you can go by Modern Human Resource Management by C.B. Gupta or Personal Administration by Pigors and Mayors. Thank you, students. So this was Module 8, Lecture 2 on Placement, Orientation and Socialization.